I've been asked why I make it a requirement to sell the Colossus Headshell for Kuzma tone arms. Why I will make it a requirement for the purchaser to have had an analysis of their cartridge before I sell the Headshell to them. And I want to address why I make that a requirement. As we've shown in much of the data that we've discussed related to our acceleration measurements of the Colossus Headshell versus a standard Kuzma Headshell, that the Colossus significantly lowers the mechanical noise floor of your playback. And lowering the mechanical noise floor means lowering your electrical noise floor. The thing about noise floors is that we all manage them to greater or lesser degrees in our system. And we make choices of what next equipment to purchase, or whether we're going to keep this tweak or that tweak, or make this change to a cable and so forth. We make these decisions on what sounds best in our system relative to what's happening to our noise floor, because that's what we chase. We chase a reduced noise floor. We chase reduced electrical noise floor, mechanical noise floor, acoustic noise floor, psychoacoustic noise floor. We want all of those noise floors to lower. That way we're getting more of the music. That's what we're all after. But we make our decisions about what sounds best with the noise floor currently in place. Unfortunately, some of the decisions that we make can be highly corrupted by this noise floor. I'm going to give you an example. One of the beta testers for the Colossus Headshell, he had originally had a cartridge analysis done. He got to experience the sonic benefits of that, got used to that for a while, and then he decided he was going to try a different set of footers underneath, I don't even remember the brand, it's not important, a different set of footers underneath his phono stage. And he determined he liked what those footers did for the high frequencies in his playback. So he kept them there. Then he sent his cartridge back to me, and I fitted it on a Colossus Headshell for him, sent it back to him. He installed it, and he got back to me with all of the adjectives about how it sounded that I was hearing from the rest of my beta testing group. Expanded soundstage, improved imaging, better transient attack, more inner detail, greater sense of realism and clarity and sense of focus. And so he was enjoying those benefits. And then I think a day later, after I heard from him, he got back to me again and he said, but there was one thing that was irritating me about the Colossus. He said there was something going on in the high frequencies that he didn't like. But for whatever reason, instead of blaming the Colossus, he went to those footers that he'd put in and removed them and listened again. Problem solved. The high frequency problem that he would have otherwise have attributed to the Colossus was actually these footers, which, remember, previously when his noise floor was higher, sounded beneficial. It did something extra for him that he didn't have before, and he deemed that beneficial. Now, with the Colossus in place, the noise floor drops considerably, and now he hears that contribution of the footers more clearly for what they are doing. Now, they are probably, and I've talked about this in a previous video on isolation and decoupling, they are changing the mechanical impedance between the payload and the support surface, which will change the nature of energy transfer and shift it to different frequencies. Now, there's not necessarily anything wrong with this process of playing around with these mechanical impedances, which is what these rigid footers do, but you have to understand that the benefits that you may perceive as a positive contribution right now, when you later lower your noise floor through whatever means, acoustic improvement or electrical improvement or a new component, or you get a Colossus, might be revealing themselves for what they are, right? It's just a shift of the problem to a different frequency, or different cue. So this is the problem that us audiophiles have. We're very good at identifying when we hear something we don't like or something that isn't right. We're not good at identifying why it's happening. Because a simple analysis of the situation would have blamed that high frequency problem on the Colossus. Instead, this guy had the foresight to analyze other things and found out that the real problem was something that previously seemed to bring a positive benefit to his experience, that now that the noise floor was reduced, is clear to him really wasn't. After all that, let me get to the point. Why it is that we require that your cartridge have been analyzed before we'll sell a Colossus to you. And it's simply because the reduction in the noise floor, mechanical and electrical, that the Colossus offers is so significant that if you haven't already corrected for your angular errors that would otherwise possibly exist or likely would exist in your cartridge because you haven't had an alignment, those would become all that much more apparent, because those angular errors do cause distortion characteristics that, for the most part, exist right at the level of the noise floor. But when that noise floor drops, you're more likely to hear them. And I don't want you to hear them and attribute that negative aspect to the Colossus, because it's not related to the Colossus. All the Colossus does is lower the noise floor, and well, it'll just make it more apparent if it exists. So this is why I require a cartridge analysis and correction before we will fit you with a Colossus Headshell. There it is, another week of soundbite video, another one next week.